Hi guys, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Feel free to comment, subscribe, and won't you please share. Now, because of COVID and everything that has happened, I was basically sitting one day and I thought, boom, what I will be doing, because I love books and I love conversation, and of course I love beauty because I'm a makeup artist. I thought, let me have a sit down whilst unpacking what I have understood from a book that I've read, doing the unpacking whilst doing my makeup. And I thought that was pretty fun, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Get ready with me as I unpack the book Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. The first chunk of this whole thing, I don't know what happened to the footage, and so this is why I'm first coming looking like this, and in about a couple of seconds you'll see me looking like that, because obviously it was filmed in different seasons. So sit back, get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, I don't know what you like to get, but get that, and let's learn, and let's just create an atmosphere, a platform where we can both learn either beauty, but as we learn how to apply the face and how to apply all these external things, may we also be transformed internally to create either habits or get better values, a better perspective on life. So yeah, sit back and enjoy. How to hold on fear. The advice that she gives is to hold on fear with power and actions. How to hold on fear with power and action is to not be a victim of it or to not be passive about it. That the fear is going to be felt, but we'll overcome it. We'll handle it. This book literally only has 3 chapters. You can read it in 3 hours or 2 hours and a little bit on Audible. We are wise and completely paralyzed by fear. Instead of just being like, oh my God, I've acknowledged. Because sometimes there's one thing to acknowledge that you have the problem. It's a whole other thing to swim against the flow after acknowledging that this is the problem. How do I unlearn to now relearn and gain another tool that can help me overcome my fears when, and not if, when they pop up. And so she says that take small, bold actions and risky actions every day. And one thing that she said that that resonated with me is that she says, bruh, I need to do my face. She says, plan the day before. So the day before, plan what you will be doing that's bold. So don't wake up the next day and just be like, oh my God, I'm calling this guy. Because then you're going to be weird. If you call like, oh my God, I'm emailing the president of Coca-Cola to ask for an internship. But if you planning means that you know the chains of demand and you know who to speak to get the result that you desire. So don't just do, because that's definitely my issue, is that I'll do something extreme, and say, anyways, God didn't want that to happen for me. Like, I'm definitely the person that will email the CEO of Coca-Cola on a generic email address and hope that he'll reply. He himself will reply. And if he doesn't reply, I'm like, oh well, God didn't want me to do this thing. No. Plan so that you can actually get to the fruition, because now you're just masking your actions with supposed plan or supposed actions. You know what I mean? So instead of like going through the fear, you are doing sometimes, okay, let me just be practical about it. Sometimes you are in a relationship, or the beginning of the relationship, beginning of unhealthy relationship where you don't know where you stand and you're like scared to call or things like that, or you call and it rings 2 times and then you hang up and you're like, oh well, at least I tried. You didn't try. You were still afraid. You didn't apply the tool to help you overcome the fear because you're afraid. So do something fully, and then preferably what she suggests is that you plan. Because when you plan, you do it consciously, and you also do it knowing that you did the best that you can in the season that you're in. Risky, bold actions like calling someone you're intimidated by. All of my examples are like personal to what I actually desire to do. And obviously I can't say it out loud because I must actually make it happen. Because sometimes you say things and then you end up not doing it. So just do it. Sometimes people don't really have the fear, but maybe procrastination is masked in fear. Yeah, I think that is. And so you speak about what you want to do, but you don't do it because you're afraid. And that's how you hold your fear. by speaking about the things that you desire, but not doing what you desire. My guys, when I clocked this, I was like, ask for something you want and are too afraid to ask for. Ask it. Ask for that raise. Because honestly, what's the end of that what if? Just remember, you'll handle it. If they say, oh my God, that's going to get you the first warning, you'll handle it. You'll handle it because you're smart enough to get the second job. You will handle it. If your boss says that, oh my God, because you asked this, you're immediately kicked out. But you'll handle it because you know what that has done? You have planned, and not just barge into your superior or your boss's office and be like, I demand a raise. Obviously not. But use the tools like YouTube to find out, how do I ask for a raise in the most diplomatic, polite way. Polite is such a weird word when it comes to desiring what you want, because people's definition of polite means you keeping quiet. So how do I ask for a raise in a way that benefits me without being disrespectful? Yes, because you can respect someone and still desire the things that you desire. So maybe do that research and then present your case to the person that you need to present your case to. Maybe put in plans and procedures where you can pause and be like, I'm going to ask the things that I desire, and I'm going to do homework on how to ask what I desire in the most effective way. Change my life. The reason why you need to take bold steps and bold risks every single day. And she says, do small things. For me, okay, so there was COVID, right? In March and April specifically, like we bought all this Nutella, the chocolate spread. Like I think we probably bought like 12 and a lot of white bread. So what did I do? Devoured it. What are the results? Double chin, big boobs, because that's where my weight goes. So like if you have small actions, like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, let me do one push-up. I know it sounds weird, but it's so powerful. Like you wake up and you're like, Vanessa, physically you have one huge risk thing that you can do. You can be tired because typically I'd be like, oh no, I don't have time to do a workout because smang so-and-so is coming for makeup. So, and then I never did it and went, and then it's a month and I haven't done anything. So when she gave this tip, I was like, this is brilliant. Don't do huge tasks. So just say, I am going to do 2 push-ups, literally 2 push-ups. Physically, that is my bold move. So I'm going to do today 2 push-ups. That's it. And when it's done, you tick it and you move on. And that's it. And you need to be happy with that. Let me tell you, changing my life progressively. Love it. Don't be having dreams or like, oh my God, I can't wait to be with this guy. Oh my God, this guy is such a fine man. But you know, the tonton has a wife. Or you know the tonton is in a committed relationship. Like, it doesn't serve you and it's not done with love. You're just taking from someone else. What does taking responsibility look like? The first steps to taking responsibility is 1, never blaming anyone else for anything you are being, having, feeling, or doing. 4 things. So I love that. So like, never blame anyone else for anything that you are being. If you are being jealous, it's not the other person's fault. It's your fault that you're being jealous, and you need to fix that which is in you to create a better outlook in the world. Do you know what I mean? It's not another person's fault. If you're feeling insecure, it's you. You can't feel a certain way and then you blame it on someone else. Or if at night at 3 o'clock in the evening, you're like, no, I'm hungry, I had a hard day, I deserve Nutella and a roll of bread. Me, Vanessa, you. No one sent you downstairs to the kitchen. It was you. You were alone. You went to that fridge. You took Nutella. And the next day when people woke up and said, oh my God, how did the Nutella finish? It was you. Don't pretend that you didn't know how the Nutella finished. It's you. It's no one's fault. It's you. Yeah. So basically she goes on and she says that when you don't take responsibility, you put yourself in a position of paralysis, depression, anger. When you don't take responsibility. So let's say I don't take responsibility and I'm like, it's not my fault that I'm getting weight. I'm trying everything possible and nothing is working. Guys, you know who I actually started to love again? Like LA Girl. Like I used to hate LA Girl. There was a moment I was like, oh, the formula's changed. but I don't know, it's so thick. I love it, and it stays right in place. So I've loved it all over again. If something is not working out romantically, let's say, or financially, ask yourself, how can I change my current situation? That's the question that you should ask yourself. And then she also says, look at your expectation. Quote, I need to quote this part. This part is deep. Am I expecting from my mate to do something for me that I should be doing for myself? In my life, I always expected to be with someone that would like provide for me financially, because I was like, I've been working since I was 16. The least that could happen is if I have someone that will provide for me, someone that will spoil me. And that train of thought literally led me to have unnecessary expectation in relationship. And now I understand that, like, first of all, the notion that a man is always going to earn more than you is very false. So take that thought away, because in you stating that you want someone to provide for you and all of these things, you're unconsciously also stating that the person will be in a better financial position. That is the problem, because you do life and you realize that oh, wait a minute, I'm actually strong financially, but she had already said all these things and putting those things into plan, that now when someone comes, and that person could actually be an amazing person and the person for you, but because you've already had these expectations and you release these expectations within you, and now the person feels under so much pressure, he's like, oh my God, I don't have enough financially to take care of this person because this girl is coming with this and this and this. Like, I want my man to provide for me, to spoil me, and to get me a home. You know, all these things that are like old things that we used to tell ourselves. And now you get in a situation where you're like, wait a minute, these are very unrealistic expectations to have, and definitely things that we must deconstruct. Or before you get angry in the future when you have to, like, I don't know, pay the bond. I can't believe I said that out loud. Whew. But you never know. Also, like, even in marriage, I believe that marriage has different seasons, and just being fixating on the fact that, oh my God, this man is going to provide for me, is also limiting the blessings that God has for you. You could be in a season where you're earning, I don't know, $200,000 a month, and maybe your husband isn't. So you can't say to God, oh no, God, don't bless me because, you know, this uncle doesn't have the opportunities that I have. You literally could emancipate your whole entire family and his family, but your thoughts and your expectations have put you in a bad place of receiving those blessings because you always believe that, oh no, the stock dog must earn more than me. That's messed up. Do you know what I mean? So when she said that, I was like 1000%. Something that I, as a Congolese girl, have had to rearrange my opinion on finance and my husband. Huge. Those things are decisions that you actually have to make. It's not something that you can't wait for the guy to come. You just have to decide that, you know what, I will manage my expectations with regards to what my husband can financially provide and what I can provide, and respect the path that God has for me and has put in my steps, to maybe provide more for my family. I don't know what it looks like. That, like, accept any riffraff because you know you can provide. No, I'm just saying that, like, just manage your expectation, because it's not fair to live in a world where you believe that this person must do A, B, C, D, and Z when you have actually been blessed with the opportunity to do that. Do you know what I mean? Maybe for a season you've been blessed. Let me actually clarify that, because I don't want girls to be like killing themselves when the husband is sitting. Because isn't it you said that you can provide? Oh, Jehovah. No ways. Number one thing she says, go 1 week. Congolese aunties, this is for you. Go 1 week without criticizing. Don't go into the mall and see someone and be like, oh my God, do you have your face? Oh my God, do you have it? Shut up your face. Don't criticize. Go a whole week. And what I love is that she says, for some people, you'll see how awfully quiet your week has gone. I love that. I was like, tell them, Susan. If you realize that you criticize a lot, also don't feel bad. You know, everyone's going on the journey. She recommends to replace your criticism with good words. Instead of like saying, oh my God, it's COVID. Before I used to have like 15 clients on a Saturday and now I only have one. Oh my gosh, how am I going to make ends meet? Instead of doing that, just saying, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, that I'm alive. Thank you that you have still given me breath and we are month 6 of COVID and I'm here. You're giving me the chance to still praise you and still love you and still love your people. Thank you. Or even like, men are trash. All men are trash. There you are wanting a great husband. Men are trash. Men are fionton. Men are fionton. How, Sway? How are you going to attract the energy that you desire when you are fiontoring men? Don't do that, madam. Mama, don't do that. And if you did, it's okay. It's also okay. But we are all on a journey of learning and unlearning. But I'm just saying, don't do it again. And replace that with, you may be seeing a world where women are like, not seeing, even experiencing a world where women are abused, women are mistreated. But say a prayer of, God, I am believing in a nation that is supportive. I'm believing that you will come through for the hurts of these men, that you will heal the hearts of these men. Change that language and maybe say a prayer. If you feel like, for me to speak like men are good is too hard, maybe change that into a prayer instead of saying, all men are fantastic, they're amazing. In your heart, you're like, oh, men are not fantastic. Sharp, great. Maybe in your season right now, men are trash, but maybe say a prayer for the trasheroo that are men. The second thing she says about taking responsibility, which is something that is huge for me. Huge for me. Don't blame yourself. Do not blame yourself. You are living a spiritual journey. All these physical things will fade. So don't harness this bitterness, self-hatred, simply because you're going through the season of life. Do not, and I repeat, please, do not blame yourself. And then I must quote this part. She said, understand that you did the best that you could have done being the person that you were in that season. Like, let me give you an example. Someone that, a client, she was a client because I was doing her face, and she said something that was quite profound. She was like, Van, I've been with a married man. And she goes on and she speaks quite extensively about it, and she's like, I've done this for so long that I don't even know how to go back. And I thought that was so deep because, so when I read this part, I thought back of that situation when this person was telling me this thing. And I thought it's so powerful because it's true. What she says is valid, is that don't blame yourself too much for the things that you did being the person that you were. At some point, you have to forgive yourself for the wrong decision. And we're not saying that they are right. They are very much wrong decisions that you made then. And be okay with like, okay, it's time to pick up my mat and walk. I can no longer fixate on what I did for the last 30 years or 50 years or 2 weeks or 4 weeks. I can no longer fixate on it. Look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you know what? I messed up. You come before God for me. And I don't know what that means for you. You come before God and you're like, God, Father, forgive me, please. Take me as I am. Cleanse me in the way that only you can. And truly and honestly let that thing go, bruh. Let it go. Listen to me. Let it go. Let it go. It has no more hold on you. Like you can't. It's helpful for no one. Let it go. Let the insecurity go. Just let all those things. Like I promise you, it sounds so stupid, but for me, this was when the cracks hit. When I was like, preach it to me at the back. Let me run forward a little bit so that you can say it louder to me. So that was very good for me. That was very good. Because you need to let the disappointment, oh no, I wish he did. I wish he handled this differently. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, Van, you encountered this person. You had these whole expectation of this person and they failed. And I failed the situation. Me, Vanessa, I failed because I was responsible for letting this person in my life. And I forgive me for letting them. And forgive me for being hurt in however the situation turned out. And then after forgiving, you see, you take it's like this. You see this dirty thing, you throw it in the bin. Striving for what's ahead. In fact, throw it outside. Let the pick up people to come and pick it up and throw it out of your environment. And then you strive for what's ahead. And so what that means is, if you're a girl that used to, play around with married men, you stop it. If you're a girl that loves food, you stop it. Stop it, Van. Stop it. If you feel like, I still live with me some baby daddies, bruh, I'm not Jesus, bruh. I'm not the Holy Spirit. We leave the Holy Spirit to do what he can do. Being aware of when and where you're not taking responsibility. So if something happens, you're like, Mia was just sitting there at sunset and then this uncle came at me. Girl, you're not taking responsibility, my friend. Stop it. Stop it. Do you know what I mean? So take that responsibility. And maybe for a season, don't be in certain places. How do you know the areas in your life? How can you identify the areas in your life where you're not taking responsibility? How do you, like myself, how do I identify? And she names a few areas. She says, any areas where you have signs of anger, blaming other people. Say, it wasn't me, it was that person. It's that tonton that slid in my DM. Fix it. When you have signs of vengeance, oh my God, that girl, she'll see. She will. Stop it. Stop it. You're not healing. You're not taking responsibility. Stop it. Stop it. Self-pity. You don't have focus. That has happened to me before. When, I don't know if it was not taking, okay, actually, since you said it's not taking responsibility, this probably is exactly that, not taking responsibility. At the beginning, I was just feeling like, oh my gosh, it's COVID. Oh my gosh, I don't have money. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Oh my gosh. I'm feeling pity before I even see the positive aspect of the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't feel pity. Don't pity yourself because you're not taking responsibility. I could have been proactive and be like, okay, cool, this is happening. What can I use? What can I do through the internet as the streams of income? When you can't be happy for other people, when you're obsessing, when you have addiction, when you're judgmental, you're like, oh, these girls that love to wear makeup, at least me, I have nice skin. Dog, you also have an insecurity. Stop covering behind your nice skin. Because if you have a nice of anything, you don't feel like, when I'm feeling confident, I never go and be like, oh my God, at least me, I feel like, I don't know how people don't get it. That's more like, saying that is more telling of the condition of your heart than anything. You're showing to me that you are not well within yourself, because you don't need to increase yourself and decrease other people. Anyone that does those things have insecurities. Oh my God, she showed this. Oh my God, how can she think? You're insecure. Let that thing go. Let's jealousy go. So that was very nice. I love that she mentioned that. Imagine all I've done so far is still chapter 1. So you can imagine the jewels and the bars. What if, this is an example, what if I call him and then he doesn't answer? Then he's gonna think that I'm desperate. Or what if I don't call him? Then he's gonna think that I'm not available. Oh my God, what if all those things? And then that's called, she classifies that as Chatterbox, where you like literally out-talk yourself from doing anything, which is basically paralysis, because all the possibilities are in your head. You end up rejecting them by yourself. And I've done that before. She suggests to replace the Chatterbox with loving thoughts. And this part was a part that was a little bit empty for me, because I think for some people, it's very, very difficult for them to have loving thoughts because they've never consumed content that is loving. And I've noticed this, that like people don't know how to be encouraging. They don't know how to be loving to themselves and to others because they haven't exposed themselves to loving, and they don't consume content that is loving and kind to themselves and to other people. So you'll find someone that can be supportive but is very hurtful and harm and just very spiteful. And that's because I believe that they haven't consumed loving content that loves them and the other people at the same time. But for me, the tool that I would suggest is to read the Bible, honestly. Read, if you don't want to read the whole Bible, and maybe read the Psalms, read the Proverbs, because it's going to teach you to think positively. Because it's hard to say to someone that is that criticize and that is mean and that is jealous to think positive thoughts, because they don't have a repertoire, or they don't have a storage. They don't have a storage of good words for themselves, and so you can't give out what you yourself don't have. So what I suggest, and something that I don't think she mentioned, is read the Bible as a tool to learn positivity, honestly. Because some people, even the concept of saying, oh, be positive, it's so hard for them to understand. Sorry, I'm just putting this on this lace that's like keeps on lifting. They don't consume positivity, so how can they produce positivity? And I completely understand. It's very hard. You can't. It's very incredibly hard. Sorry, I'm just reinforcing my beauty spots. I asked this question on Instagram and people were like, no, of course I don't do that. Oh, that's not that deep. I was like, girl, I hear you. The name of the book is phenomenal. The book is fantastic. Do I suggest it? Absolutely. Go buy it. Go learn from it. Read the book because it needs to tell you about the payoffs. There's a chapter that speaks about the payoffs, and what the payoffs do is that it helps you see what you don't have to make the best decision that you need to make. So it just helps you see what you don't have and what you do have to make, like, let's say you're at a job and you maybe want to quit, and it helps you see and practically visualize your life in a space where you're like, okay, cool, sharp. Where am I now? And what does this current position mean for my next best move? And if you have any other suggestions, any other book suggestions, please feel free, jot it down and subscribe. It costs you nothing. Subscribe. Might as well hop on other videos that I've done. Go take a look at it, watch it, comment on it, and yeah, that's awesome. See you guys later. Cheers.